In this lecture, we're going to be doing a quick practice. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do a 3D model of a chair and a table, and I'm going to also do a quick model for a quick plane. So I'm going to start with the chair. So I'm just going to create a box. This is a box, and I'm going to go to the modify and modify its length and width and height. So I want it to be 45 centimeters in length, 45 centimeters in width, and 4 centimeters in height. So this is my base of the chair seat. I'm going to move it on the z-axis. So I'm going to do right click on the move, and I'm going to move it on z-axis 45 centimeters. Now I'm just going to press F4 or edge faces to access the edges. I'm going to add edit poly. I'm going to go to edges. I'm going to select this edge, and then I'm going to go to selection. I'm going to press ring. So I select the whole edges so I can be able to connect them together. Connect. I just need to have two connections. So I'm going to have two segments. Now I want one to be over here and one over here so I can be able to create and draw the legs of the chair and the back seat. So I just have pinch. I can pinch them away from each other or towards each other. So in my case, I'm going to pinch them away from each other for a value which is like maybe 80. This is how much I want. So I'm just going to press check to save. Now I'm just going to orbit a bit. Now I'm going to select one of these edges, and then I'm going to go ring again. Now I'm going to selecting the other edges, and then I'm going to connect the other way. I'm going to leave it the same value because it's a square, so it's going to be the same value. So I'm going to say OK. Now I ended up with 4 polygons on the top and the same thing from the bottom because I was working with rings and loops. Now I'm going to select the 4 polygons at the bottom. I'm going to go extrude, and I'm going to extrude them for the value of 45. Check. Okay, now 45 definitely is going to be exactly on the floor because we just moved 45 centimeters up. And now I'm going to select the back. 2 of those, I'm going to have them the back seat. So extrude, it's going to be also 45. So now this is my back seat. Now, I'm just going to select edges. I'm going to go select all these 4 edges, control all these 4 edges, or I can select them definitely like this, or I can select one of those, control one of those, and I can go to select, selection, and ring. I will get this ring and this ring. Okay, so now I'm going to go connect, and I have the default which was 2 by 80. I'm just going to zero them out by right clicking on the cursors. I just need to have maybe 5. I'm going to pinch them towards each other, something like that, and then I'm going to slide them upward, maybe something like that, and then I'm going to count. So I'm going to have in here an extrude, here and here. So I think this is the value correct. So I'm going to check, and now go to polygon again, select this polygon. I'm going to skip one, select this one, skip one, select this one. I'm going to do the same thing the opposite way, and now I'm going to bridge these together. So I'm going to go bridge. I make sure this is my bridge and check. Great. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the lower part. So I'm going to select all these edges, or as I said, I can select one of these, each one, and I'm going to go ring. So I select them all. Now I'm going to go connect. I'm going to connect 2 or maybe 4 if I want. Doesn't matter. Maybe 5, I mean. Okay, I'm just going to pinch them away from each other and then slide them how much I want. I think this is what I want. Now I'm just going to select this polygon and this polygon. I was supposed to have 3, not 4. It's fine. So I have an extra one. So this is what I want. So I'm going to do bridge and done. So this is my chair. This is a simple chair, a simple model. If I want to add more details to it, for example, I want to have an armchair. So I'm just going to select this polygon, these polygons in here. I'm just going to extrude them. I'm just going to extrude them for 10 centimeters only. Okay, and then I'm going to check, and then extrude again. Instead of doing this, I'm going to press the plus sign. It will do another extrude for 10 centimeter, but I want this to be 5 centimeters now, and check. Now, what I want, I need this to be connected, bridged to somewhere here, but I don't have connections in here. So I'm going to go edges. I'm going to select these edges and these edges, or as I did before, select one of here and one of those in here, and then ring. So I'm going to go connect. I'm just going to make sure, okay, the value that I'm working with. So I need to have 2 segments. So I'm going to have 2 segments, but the problem is I'm not sure the pinching how much it's going to be. So it's fine. I'm just going to do it a bit visually, okay, but it's not accurate. So I'm going to go to the left view in here, okay. So I'm going to use vertex. I'm going to select these vertices. I'm going to do snapping, okay, axis constraint, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to be snapping on the y-axis. So just going to move y and make sure it's going to be aligned to this point. And these two, they're going to be aligned to this. Now these are aligned 100%, which is perfect. Now I can just select polygons, go to this and this, and the opposite ones, and I can bridge them all together. Okay, and that's it. Maybe this is what I want, or maybe I can have maybe a taper to them if needed. Just going to add a bit more segments. I'm just going to taper it, maybe upward or inward, doesn't matter. Let's say this is what I want. Check, done. I have my chair. Now I'm going to create a table. Just going to go for a new box. I'm going to add the values. So I want it to be the length of 120 centimeters, or maybe say 120 and 220. Okay, I prefer to make it 100. Okay, so this is my table, and I forgot my height. I want it to be 5 centimeters. That's great. Now, just need to move it. So right click on the move on the z-axis, or I can use this one in here. It's the same. So I'm going to make it on 75 centimeters. Okay, and I'm going to do the same exact thing now, but in a different way. So I'm going to go edit poly. I can do the same thing in here, and I have 4 legs in here, but I'm going to do it in a different way. So I'm just going to go polygon, I'm going to select this, and I'm going to go bevel. I'm going to do a different design. So I'm going to scale it down, something like that. I'm going to say check. I'm going to extrude this minus 75, or 75, I mean, sorry, 75 centimeters, and it's going to be on the floor. Perfect. We can double check in here. It's 100% accurate. And now I'm just going to select this edge, ring. I'm going to select the whole ring, and then I'm going to connect those with several edges. So I'm not sure how much I want, but I can count them. I want every one of them. So every other. So if this is not, I'm going to select. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's perfect. So I want 16, which is great. Now I'm going to go to polygons. I'm going to select this one, shift, next one to it. So I'm going to select the whole ring. Now control click on this and then shift this one, control click to this, shift, control shift, control shift, control shift, control shift, control shift. I'm pressing control, I'm adding to selection. When I press shift, I'm adding the loop. So now I have all this. Now I'm going to go extrude. Instead of extrude by group, I'm going to go extrude by local. And definitely this is too much. So I'm just going to push it for 2.5 centimeters. This is how much I want it to be pushed. Maybe you want it more. We can push it more, maybe 4 centimeters if I want it to be more. So let's say this is what I want. I think it's too much. Let's say 3 and then check. Great. Now if I want it to be not sharp, I want it to be smooth. So I'm going to go edges again. I'm going to select this edge, control, this loop. So I'm double clicking to select the whole loop. So I'm going to select the ones from the top first. So this. So I'm double clicking. Okay, just making sure I'm not going to skip any one of those. But if I did already skipped, it's not a big deal. I can just go back and select it again. Okay, now I'm just going to go from down and select the edges that are from down. So every one, I'm just gonna double click on it, double click to add the loops. Okay, this is what I want, this is what I want, and I think I still have one in here. I missed it. Double click. So now I selected the whole loops of these. Why I'm selecting these? Because I want to chamfer them so they look a bit rounded, so they won't be sharp. So I'm just gonna round them. Depends how much you want to round them. I'm just gonna round them a bit, maybe this much. So 0.5 centimeters. Okay, and I want more segments because I want it to be rounded. So I'm just gonna add maybe 4 or 5. I'm gonna press check, done. Now I have this kind of smooth, rounded paper. On the top area, also I'm gonna do a small chamfer. So I'm gonna just select top, all of the top. Just want to make sure that I'm selecting just the top area. Okay, this and this, this and this. Okay, so now I select it. If I want to have it circular from the corners, I'm just gonna select these also, so I can make it all smooth from all sides. So this depends on what you want. So I'm just gonna go chamfer. I'm gonna chamfer it 1 centimeter, okay, and have it more smooth. I'm gonna say yes, done. So now I have this table which is rounded from the corners and from the sides of the whole area. Great. Now I can select it. I can change its color, give it a brown color. I'm going to select the chair. I'm going to give it also a brown color. Now all I need to do is go from the top, move. I'm going to make sure it fits in here. So that's my first chair. Shift and drag. That's my second chair. And copy. That's my third chair. I have 3 chairs in here. Sorry, I just miscalculated it. Just going to make sure. So that's going to be okay. I can just space them out visually. It's not a big deal. Okay, so now I have 3 chairs on this side. What about other chairs? So I can select all these 3 chairs. I'm just gonna go group them, and then I'm gonna go to hierarchy, affect pivot only, and shift A to this box. So it's in the center now. Now what all I need to do is mirror. I can mirror on this axis, which is Y, and definitely have a copy of it. And now I ended up with 3 other chairs on the other side. If I want to have 2 chairs on the top, all I need to do is copy one of those and rotate it 90 degrees and place it on top. In my case, I don't. So that's a quick practice how to create and how to work with Edit Poly in something more tangible and practical. What I'm going to do now, just going to select all these. I'm going to right click, hide, and I'm going to draw a plane, a cartoon plane. So I'm just going to start with a box. I'm gonna press F4 to have my etched faces. I'm gonna add height length, width length, have 2. Actually, I don't think I need this. I need in here. So this is going to be my plane. Here is going to be my wings, and that's the body. Okay, so I'm just gonna go edit poly. I'm gonna go select polygons. So I'm gonna select this and this at the same time, the wings, and I'm gonna extrude them. I'm gonna push them away. I'm gonna do it visually, okay? So something like that maybe. Yes. And then I'm gonna scale them on the Z-axis to make them thin at the end. I'm gonna scale them also on the X-axis to make them a bit thinner from here. I'm gonna move them backwards, and I'm gonna move them a bit downward. Okay, so that's going to be my wings. Perfect. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just gonna select this edge, okay, in here, and I'm just gonna scale it up. So I'm gonna scale it up, have this kind of round shape, okay, and at the same time I'm gonna chamfer it, have 2 edges together. I'm just gonna space them out a bit, something like that maybe, but I'm not gonna add any more segments. So that's it. Now in here I can select this polygon, and this is going to be my tail. So I'm going to extrude it, definitely change the volumes, maybe something like that. I will definitely scale it on the y-axis, and at the same time on this x-axis. Now I have it something like that. I can just move it backward. Okay, so maybe this is what I want. Perfect. Now I'm going to select these polygons in here. I'm just going to extrude them again. And I'm going to scale them. Maybe almost 0. I can have them 0 or just a little distance. And I can move it downward. I can move it a bit forward. Maybe this is how much I want it to be. Great. I'm getting this cartoony plane. Now I'm just going to do exhaust. So I'm going to select these two polygons. I'm going to bevel them. Just going to bevel them a bit. Something like that. And now check. And then I'm going to extrude them inward. Maybe something like that. And check. Done. Now all I need to do is have some kind of detail in here to have this not get smooth a lot. Or if I want it to be smooth, all I need to do is just keep it like this. I can also add details on the wings, maybe have them not straight, maybe go this way and then this way. All I need to do is select these edges and I can connect, and then maybe move this, I can connect and then check and then move this maybe something like that to have it a bit different. So if I want to do this on both, I can just select both. I'm just going to undo. So I'm going to select this and this, connect, and then push these a bit forward. So they have this kind of curve if I want, or maybe push them a bit upward. So they're going to have a curve on this axis and this axis. Okay, great. I like it. It's very simple. Okay, all I need to do is I'm going to add details in here. So I'm going to select edges. I'm going to select this edge and this edge, and I'm going to go ring. So I'm going to select the whole ring. So if I connect these, I'm going to connect them with 2, and I'm going to pinch them. I'm going to pinch them away here so I can get more sharp edges in here. Whenever I have 2 edges next to each other, I'm not going to have a lot of smooth in here, so I'm going to make it limited. So now I'm done with that. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to add turbo smooth. Okay, I'm going to add 2 iterations or maybe 3 iterations to have it smooth. And now I'm going to end up with this kind of plane. Okay, this is a cartoony plane. Okay, it lacks a lot of details, but I can work with that. Okay, so now I can have the exhaust in here. It's like a fighter plane, and that's it. Right click, hide all. I have everything in here, so I just can move this or maybe snap it in here. Just make sure from the top it is lying on the table. This is the line of the table, so I'm just gonna make it lie on the table, and maybe this is what I want. Or I can just scale it down and have it a small plane on the table. Just have to make sure it is lying again on the table again. So something like that, and done. I have a small plane on the table with the chairs.